So we're going to start today thinking about the right brain child. You know, in the animal kingdom, 50% of the animals are right paw dominant. 50% of them are left paw dominant. And you say, how did they find that out? Well, you know how they would have levers that the animals depress to see whether or not they like sugar water or regular water, that type of thing? Well, someone actually calibrated how many use their right paw to depress the lever and how many use the left paw to depress the lever. Probably an accountant, wouldn't you say? A right brainer would have come in and said, yeah, I think it's about 50%, no, maybe 60. That brainer counted every one of those little paws, and so we have really good data. So that isn't the way it is in the human kingdom, though. We don't have 50% of us left-handed or left-pawed, and 50% of us right-handed or right-pawed. Depending on what research you go by, about 15 to 20% of the population is left-handed. Can we determine brain dominance by handedness? No, it isn't quite that easy. We're going to do this by characteristics. One of the things we can do, though, we can look at eyedness, whether we are left eye dominant or right eye dominant. That gives us a little clue. But the stronger way we can tell is by characteristics. You know, God has a great sense of humor. So if you are married, your spouse is the opposite dominance that you are, if you didn't notice before now. You thought they were just doing that to annoy you. So the way they are. In fact, now this is not hard data, but this is what we have observed. If you have your first child is left brain dominant, the next child, if you didn't have a miscarriage in between, tends to be right brain dominant. So if you have more than one child at your school, you notice that they learn completely differently. Anybody notice that here? Yeah, I think so. So we're going to just look at the dominance and what role that plays in how easy or hard it is to learn. I was talking to my daughter last night, and she said that a friend of hers had a son who was struggling in spelling. And spelling, you know, can be such a bugaboo. And we're going to talk about that real early this morning. And she just said, you just jazz those words up, put them up high, put colors on them. And the mother said, how can that help? But she did it. And the little guy got 100% and says, in school, he was going to a school, her neighbor's son, they had decided that he would have only half the spelling list. What's the message that you get if they give you half the spelling list? No, they didn't mean to be unkind when they did that. They did that to help him out. But once he got that, he said, oh, where's the other half of the spelling list? I want to do the bonus words. What happened to his self-esteem right away? His opinion of himself. What we're going to look at today is how we can help kids get in touch with the smart part of themselves. And that's the beauty of looking at right and left hemisphere dominance. You are getting handouts, and in one of your handouts, this brain model will be. For the people who are getting the videotape, we will have the handouts available for you when you purchase a videotape. And we'll have as many of the overheads that are not as clear as we wanted to be in the videotape. We'll have those available also for you. So, someplace on there you have this, because otherwise I know you're going to be drawing this. Now I'm going to be able to see my left graders and right graders in here. My left brainers are going to take out a piece of paper and take notes independent of the handouts. And you right brainers are going to write right on the handouts. By the time you're done, there's going to be so much writing on the handouts you weren't sure there's any printing on there originally. And then you really give yourselves away if you take out colored pencil or marker. So we'll be able to tell you right away. Let's look at, this is a model of the brain. The model of the brain that we have established now and we use for educational purposes are really done. It was originally, the research was done for medical purposes. What they found out in 1981, Dr. Roger Sperry received his Nobel Prize for his split brain research. What they needed to do is they needed to do a commiserotomy, separating the two hemispheres for people who had seizures, active seizures. As they did that, that's when they realized there's a real specialization that occurs for the left brain and for the right brain. There are particular responsibilities. Can you believe that was just in 1981?